Meditation on the Passion of Christ. Come, walk with Jesus in his passion. See the blood from his feet on each footstep he takes. As you follow, see his blood as he carries his cross for love of you. Walk on with him. As his cross grows heavier, see each step he takes. His blood flows. He grows weaker and weary. Hear those he passes by. Listen to the jeering, the bad naming. Hear the vulgar language. Stay focused on him. See him as he falls to the ground, the heavy cross crushing his shoulder for love of you. See him kicked, spat upon, pulled and dragged by the soldiers. See how they treat him, yet he accepts it all. See him struggle to get back up. He falls many times from exhaustion and weakness for love of you. Walk on with him. Stay focused on him. His heart is filled with love for each one of us. As he suffers, walk on with him. As his body grows weaker still, each step is a terrible struggle as he drags his feet. His feet are sore, torn, bruised, and covered in blood for love of you. Come, follow his way, be his followers, walk in and through it all. The jeering, the mocking, the blaspheming, the kicks and the blows. Stay focused on him, stay with him. See as the woman comes forward through the crowd, through the soldiers. She loves Jesus. She is not afraid. Love within her heart gives her courage. In love and through love, she wipes his face. Jesus accepts her act of love. He leaves an image of his face for us all, for love of you. Stay firmly focused and fixed on him. As he falls again, fall with him. Look into his eyes. See the love in his eyes as he goes to his death for love of you. The crowd continues to lash out, wounding him, yet he would gladly do it all again. Be a helper to him. Help him get back up again. When we fall, he helps us over and over again. Have courage, stay focused on him, and walk on through it all. Feel the warmth of his love bring you along with him. Feel his foot in your foot dragging along over the rough stones, the rocks, for love of you. Stay with him, keep him company, stay focused. Our destiny is ahead. Believe in him, walk with him. As he gets back up again, the crowd cheers foul words. If they do it to him, they will do it to you too. When you love him, do not worry about those who hurt you with words. Offer it all to him, as he offered everything to his Father in heaven for love of you. In his passion, see his mother as she walks with him. The crowd will not let her go to him. Her eyes are firmly fixed on Jesus, her broken heart suffering to see him. Oh, how she longed to be with him, to hold him, to love him. He wanted to rest in her loving arms too, but he knew it had to be. They both knew it had to be. They offered it up in one heartbeat of love for love of you. Suffer on, little children. Come to him. Be his followers. Stay with him. See how he grows weaker, drawn. His blood flows. His body is all bruised and torn for love of you. The cross gets heavier as he gets weaker. He lays down his life freely for love of you. He is thirsty for our souls. He is thirsty as he walks along the way. When we're weak, he is our strength. Our problems become smaller as we stay with Him. We are in Him and He in us. His love is flowing into our veins. His heartbeats becoming stronger in ours. His breath, the breath of Yahweh, is breathing in us. Walk up the hill of Calvary with Him. Oh, how hard it is now for Him to drag His legs for the love of you. His helper has been helping Him carry His cross. It could be you. Go to Him, an act of mercy. How beautiful it is to give yourself in merciful acts of love. In Jesus, you do it for God. Stay with Him. His heart has almost stopped beating. His breathing has become slow and dull for love of you. In His weakness, He's thinking of you. As the soldiers shove His body onto the cross, the roughness of the cross opens His wounds again. Offer up your suffering to Him in union with Him. Stay with Jesus. Be present to Him, love Him, and keep Him company. See His right arm being pulled and stretched by the soldiers. There's the hammer and the nail. How rough it is. Suddenly, the nail is hammered through His hand. His flesh is torn, tearing nerves and ligaments. In anguish, He cries out within Himself and out loudly, for love of you. As the soldiers stretch out His left arm and they nail His left hand to the cross, His blood flows, His precious blood redeeming us. His arm stretched out and firmly affixed to the cross. The cross is lifted and straightened, the Lord hanging upright, the weight of His body pulling on His hands, His feet put together. The nail is driven through His flesh. What a blow! For love of you. The pain is horrific as Jesus hangs on the cross in agony, blood flowing freely down the wood of the cross. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for another. Jesus would gladly lay down His life again for love of you. Oh, but to save one soul. Your soul is hearing this meditation. As you're listening, He dies for love of you. His blood flows from His hands and feet, from the crown of thorns on His head. His face is covered in blood, one eye half closed. He can barely see through the pain, sweat, and tears. Can you see Him now? Can you recognize Him? Jesus loving you in His suffering. His breath fades as He hangs in agony. Stay with Him, love Him, keep Him company. His last breath breathing for you. Yes, it is accomplished. He gives up His spirit to His Father in heaven. He died for love of you. Into His resurrection come and be with Him. We've gone through 3 days of darkness in the tomb, in spirit taking time out in memory of Him. Arise in Him. Arise to our Father in heaven and be with Him. Jesus is the light of the whole world, loving you. His love is flowing through His side wound, pierced for you. The blood and water of His merciful love. See Him in His resurrection. He is alive and living. His heart is beating for love of you. Live in Him. Die to self. Live and be. Amen. A blessed call to love.com